Hi, my name is Alex and welcome back to my YouTube channel. After my coming out video, a lot of guys were asking me on Facebook what growing up in Nigeria was like. The truth is, I really don't know what it's like living as a gay person in Nigeria, because I grew up in Nigeria trying to fight my attraction to same sex, and I always believed that maybe one day I would be able to win the battle and be straight. So I grew up, went to university in Nigeria being straight, openly, publicly. Obviously I was living a double life. I had the public straight guy, very manly and all that, but inside I had this other side of me that was in fact gay, and I was trying to hide or pretend that it wasn't there. I'll give you a quick background about how I grew up. Maybe that will help give you a bit more insight to my life and how I managed to go through most of my life being straight. I grew up in a 3-bedroom house. We had a boys' room and a girls' room. The boys' room was mainly for me, my elder brother, and later on my younger brother, and any other cousins or male relative we had. The girls' room was for my dad's sister and later on my younger sister, and any female relative that was staying with us at that time. I was not your typical boy when I was young. I hated football. Everyone talked about football in Nigeria and I could not stand it. I spent most of my time with my female relatives in the girls' room, as we used to call it back then. I loved spending time in the kitchen cooking with them. I loved spending time in their room, braiding hair, doing anything girly. I also spent some evenings putting on a fashion show where I would dress like a lady, have heels, and just walk around and put on a show. So that was my life when I was growing up. But my dad really hated it. So I remember always running out of the room anytime I heard him returning back from work. So he always was like, "You're not supposed to be in here, go and play with your fellow boys." So because of that, I tried my best to act a bit manly, tried playing football or doing something else that was not involving the girls. Back then I was between the age of 8 to 14 maybe. Doing all of those things with my female relatives was not a definition of my sexuality. I didn't really see that as me being gay. I didn't even know what being gay was. But it was just me. That was what I was happy doing. In Nigeria, no one talked about sexuality. No one talked about being gay. No one even mentioned it, not even in the church. So I really didn't know much about the gay culture or what being gay was all about. But as I grew older, these feelings and attractions also got stronger. I grew up in a very religious family, so I tried my best to act upright, as they would say, and also tried my best not to dwell on my gay tendencies or attractions. I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness, and I'm sure even masturbation was wrong. Everything was wrong. They followed the Bible to every last details and even more. So I tried my best to be straight, to do what I believed was right at the time. I can't really talk about what life was like growing up if I don't mention my alter ego. I by a very young age started calling myself Alex. I was originally called something else, African name, which I'm not going to mention. But yeah, that Alex was my alter ego. You know, Alex was the brave one, Alex was the confident one, Alex was the one that was fearless and could do anything. Alex was also the one that was blamed anytime I did something gay. So for example, if I fooled with someone, I would blame it on Alex, and I would try to just keep it as something Alex did and focus on my own self and my own life. I can't really say exactly when I started calling myself Alex or having this alter ego called Alex. My grandmother dropped me off at my dad's when I was 7 going 8 maybe, because she was like, it's your turn to look after him, you know, my daughter is going to school or wherever. My mom had me when she was barely 15. From that age 7 to, I don't know, 15, 16, 17, I had no contact with my mom or anyone from my family side. But when I saw my mom, the first thing she asked me is, do you still call yourself Alex? Do you still do that? And I was like, how do you know? And she's like, well, you used to call yourself Alex, right? Like from since I could remember. So Alex has always been there, but not there, if you know what I mean. But growing up, that was how I survived being a Christian and doing stuff with guys, because I blamed everything on Alex. So Alex was the one that was crazy. Alex was the one that would do anything and go anywhere. Even when I ran out of home because I was tired living with my dad, I blamed it on Alex because he's the fearless one. He decided, you know what, I'm going to take care of you and we're going to leave this place. And I ran away from home. Scary days. But anyway, so that was how I grew up. I had this alter ego Alex that was the brave one that did things that I could not do. Without Alex, I was a shy, scared, self-conscious little boy that was very emotional and always felt that there was no place for him. Growing up in Nigeria and having a sexual attraction for guys was not easy. It wasn't fun. One of the major reasons is because no one spoke about it. There was no reference to it. The only time you heard about homosexuality is if it's used as an insult, or if you are at the meetings on Sunday and they are preaching about going to heaven or inheriting God's kingdom, and they talk about list of stuff you should not do. Then occasionally you hear them mentioning men will lie with men or fornication and stuff like that. That was the only time you heard about homosexuality. So I was really scared to speak to anyone about it, not even my closest friends back then. Even the guys that I did stuff with, that we fooled around with, it was always a topic we never spoke about. After we did what we had to do, we just carried on. No one spoke about it at all. Even the regular ones that I did stuff with more than once or twice, we never spoke about it. It was just like it never happened. For me, the way I dealt with Alex doing anything sexual was, well, he's not penetrating anyone, so it's not really sex, and I am a Christian, so I'll just ignore everything Alex does. And that is how I was in Nigeria. Even in university, I'm sure there must have been other guys involved in same-sex relationships or wherever, but I had no idea. I was a shy, innocent little boy and I didn't know what was going on. Obviously, occasionally I did stuff with different guys, but it was far in between, and I tried my best to deal with the guilt that came after Alex have done something with a guy. After uni, I moved to the UK in 2007, and if you watch my last video, you will find out what happened after I moved to the UK. So in 2015, I decided enough was enough, that it's time to start being true to myself. The Christian organization that I thought was the key to everything was failing me. I've lost faith in Christianity. I've lost faith in organized religion. They were more interested in condemning me for going into modeling rather than providing support for me. And I grew up believing that the Christian congregation was there as a pillar of support to help you deal with anything. And back then, I never thought that my marriage was going to collapse. I never thought that my marriage was going to fail, because I thought that the Christian organization and being part of the Christian organization was the key to everything. But it wasn't. I was not welcomed. I felt out of place, and I just felt that I was in the wrong place, and I didn't even have any friends. The few people I thought were my friends were the very first people to start saying very malicious things about me as soon as they heard about my marriage falling apart. So I decided to embrace Alex. I decided to change my name to Alex because I decided that Alex was actually my true self. I wanted to be confident, I wanted to be bold, I wanted to be fearless, and I wanted to make sure that I did what made me happy instead of chasing something that was never going to be realized. 2015 was a very difficult year for me because I had to rediscover myself. I had to start life all over again. I left Scotland for London with the intention of starting life all over again. And when I got to London, I had no job, I had no money, but I knew I had to take care of my kids and they were my focus. So it was very difficult. I think I must have considered ending it all once or twice. The only thing that kept me going was that I wanted to be there for my kids. I wanted to be a good father to my kids. Also, I was dating someone at that time. We met on Instagram and we just, it was natural. Everything fell in place and we just started going out after a while. And that really helped me as well to stay focused and remember that although I've lost everything, I still have my kids and I still have someone that is there to support and love me. I'm very happy that I went through those dark days because now I have rediscovered myself. I understand myself better. I have my own new modern family that love and support me. I have a partner that is always there for me. So I think I'm happy, I'm at peace, and I'm proud to be who I am. And although a lot of people are no longer friends with me or in talking terms with me, I'm happy being me. That is everything I want to talk about today. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.